I'm now talking with Tony LaPratt from Ultimate Land Management and Whitetail Boot Camp. Welcome to the Q1 Buck Pull, Tony.
Thank you.
We're going to be doing regular features with Tony, talking about how you can become a more successful hunter. And as we talk about that, Tony, let's find out a little bit about Ultimate Land Management and the Whitetail Boot Camp. Let's start with the land management part.
Well, Ultimate Land Management is where I go to the people's properties. I travel all over the country. We've been in 24 different states. We've done over 1,000 properties in the last 5 years. And this is where I go to a property and show a person where to build buck beds, doe beds, fawning areas, food plots, stand locations. Really, we cover the whole gauntlet of deer hunting.
And when you go there, you're walking the land itself. You're not just looking at a topographical map or anything.
We cover every square inch of the property. I mean, we get down into the swamps. Everything matters, and especially the smaller the acreage, the more detail everything has to be on that property.
Now, when we take a look at the facility we're in right now, this is the Whitetail Boot Camp, and people can see all throughout the room here that you had a lot of success. Explain the Whitetail Boot Camp.
Well, the Whitetail Boot Camp is where people come here to our facility. We call this the Whitetail Habitat Research Center. Basically, I do all these crazy studies on the environment and also basically the habitats of the whitetail deer. What do they prefer? And guys come here to learn how to build all the buck beds, doe beds, and actually how to become a great hunter. And I teach people how to be true woodsmen instead of the gadgets out there. So I'm a guy that teaches people how to go back 200 years and learn everything about the whitetail deer. And that's what we specialize in.
Well, one of the things I think that is similar, whether you're in the South, Alabama, some of those states, or whether you're in Wisconsin or Michigan, you know, a lot of times people don't know where to set their stand. Just a quick tip on what's the #1 thing?
Well, the #1 thing is if you're really after big bucks, you have to understand where he lives. And here's just something simple, guys. A buck spends 70% of his life on a belly. He's more like an old male dog. He lays around all day long. At night, he's like that male dog. He wants to get up and mark his territory. But during that time of daylight hours, he's only using 20% around his core area. So out of that remaining 30%, 70% on his belly, 20% is in his core area. Most people's stands is outside that 90% zone. So like me, I control the buck beds. When I'm deer hunting, I'm over 90% of his life moving around me. My neighbors, less than 10%. Most people are in their 10% zone. So you got to find out where the buck is living and move in as close as you can.
Well, one of the things I like about it is if you come to the Whitetail Boot Camp, you're really coming into a whitetail museum and artifacts and rocks and all the trees from the state of Michigan. You really have a beautiful, I want to say museum, but I know it's your house.
Yeah, well, I tell everybody it is like a museum because it's my personality. When you look around, I live deer 24/7. And this is me, and this is my wife. She's been with me ever since we've been little kids, and this is our lifestyle. And so we build everything around our passion.
So Tony, what are some of the things that we're going to talk about this year on the Q1 Buck Pull?
Well, we're going to be talking about many things, and what I'm trying to do this year is cover things whether you own land or don't own land. And so some of these are enter and exit. Very important, and a lot of people have problems with this. Another thing, are you shooting does out of your buck stands? And this is ruining a lot of deer hunters out there. The other thing we're going to be talking about is scouting. I'm also going to be talking about stands a little bit on how to properly set them up. And we're going to be covering many little things that will help you guys be a little more consistent on big deer.
Well, and we're happy to have your opinion on the Q1 Buck Pull.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here.